Welcome. I'm Kyle Erickson, and today on the KSSU studios, we're being joined with singer-songwriter Hana Pestle. Hana, it's really good for you to join us today. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much for having me.
So I figure it's best to start at the beginning. Give us a little bit about a background about yourself, where you're from, and
whatnot. I am originally from Montana, and when I graduated from high school, I moved out to Los Angeles, where I live now. And so I've been there for 4 years, but not there very much. I've been actually spending most of my time on the road, so that's basically where my closet is, and I travel around constantly, and I have a blast.
That's good. How did you get started with music?
I have been in love with music since I was little. My parents always were listening to music around the house, and so I've been singing for as long as I can remember, and I got my first guitar when I was in 5th grade, and so I started taking guitar lessons, and then a few years later I started writing my own songs, and after that, it was kind of like a domino effect. After that, I started performing everywhere I could around in Billings, my hometown. And I would go around playing farmers markets to Borders to like random coffee shops. And eventually, somebody was at one of my shows that was from Los Angeles and knew a producer. And so they got video of my show to that producer, and I guess the rest is history. I moved there and started working on my first album, and it was it was an amazing experience.
Mm-hmm. What was the move like, moving from Billings, Montana to a cultural epicenter like Los Angeles when you're playing music?
It was pretty overwhelming, but really amazing. I mean, it's such a fun city, but really scary to a 16-year-old for sure, from Montana where there's more cows than people. But I got to, kind of get used to it, because I was going back and forth between Montana and Los Angeles my first year out there. So I got a nice group of people around me, and I think that's the most important part when you move somewhere, is finding people that you love to surround yourself with, because otherwise it can be a little bit overwhelming.
Well, you mentioned that your parents were always playing music in the house when you were growing up. What were some of your earliest influences? Who were the people that made you want to be a musician?
They were always listening. I mean, I actually was born in Atlanta, so I have these memories of just driving around in the car and being around the house listening to people like REM and Smashing Pumpkins, and we lived in a really cool part of town in Atlanta called Little 5 Points, where it was just there were shows going on all the time, and so I just have these really early memories of being around musicians and music. And so then I became really obsessed with Alanis and Sarah McLachlan. And then Radiohead became like this music god to me for a really long time. They still are. And so basically, the more I listen to music, the more inspired I get. But those are the people that, from a really early age, influenced me.
Is there like a message or a meaning in the music that you listen to that influenced you, that you sort of draw upon in your own music?
Yeah. Sarah McLachlan, she always writes with a really just from a really pure place, and always gets her emotions down really well. And it always, I mean, when I was a tween, I would listen to her music and just cry, and so that always kind of made me want to, write music that evoked what I was feeling in that same way that she does so well. And then with Radiohead, they kind of, I mean, who knows what Tom York is even singing about half the time. So he kind of inspired my sense to just let go and not be so nitpicky about each line, and things can have different meanings, and it doesn't have to be all so literal.
Exactly. I noticed reading some of your lyrics is it's very emotionally charged, but the ambiguity is still there, and I felt like I could look at the songs from a different way. Either it's like a relationship like a romantic relationship or a relationship with a parent, and it seemed like you really mastered that idea of ambiguity and communicating with your music.
Thanks.
Yeah. But so next, like the content of your music, you've released a few EPs over the last, since 2008, I believe. Mm-hmm. You released your first debut album, This Way, in 2009.
Yep.
Tell us about what it was like moving from recording EPs, just playing coffee houses, to doing like a whole album.
It was, I mean, going out to Los Angeles and working on that first album, because we worked on that for like 4 years, and in the meantime released an EP, or actually 2 EPs. And so it was kind of all enveloping, and it was really an amazing experience. I recorded it with Ben Moody, who was in Evanescence, and Michael Herring, who has played guitar for so many different people, including Christina Aguilera and Prince. And now he's on the road with New Kids on the Block. It's like, what is going on? So I was working with like these pros that just are so brilliant at what they do, and so it was really a learning experience. I was really young, so they really took me under their wing and helped me find what I wanted my sound to be, which I think is growing and changing every day. But they were really sweet and into, you know, artist development and helping me find my sound, for sure. It was an amazing experience. There were some days where we were recording 30-piece orchestras, and I was sitting there pinching myself like, what's going on? Is this real life? And it was, and I'm really thankful for that experience.
Well, you mentioned Ben Moody. You were his first client for F&R Records, the label he started, if my research serves me correctly.
Yes.
Can you tell us a little bit about that record label? They're it's very independent. It's the sort of thing that I respect, a lot of people respect. If you want to just talk about that a little bit.
Yeah. He started that with me, and it's basically just the two of us, and it's a very, you know, grassroots, independent thing that we're doing, and it's so fun. I love it because I get to release music whenever I want to, and I get to pretty much do whatever I want, which I like because I'm kind of a control freak. The downside is there's no, you know, big, huge record label money involved, but a lot of times that can inspire greater things anyway, you know, kind of making things work with less. And it's really fun, and I love being out on the road, which is the main way that I make money, and so it's really fulfilling. I make tons of friends, and I love it. I can't I can't complain at all.
That's nice. And where can we find your music then? Since you use do you use more less traditional channels to get your music out since you're independent?
My physical CDs you can buy on my own merch site, which I run, and I package everything and send it out, which is hanamerch.com, HANAMERCH.com. And then my music's really available so many different places. It's on iTunes, Amazon, you know, digital formats. It's pretty much everywhere.
Oh, great.
So I think it's important for it to be easily accessible to people, because now in these days, I mean, you can, I mean, it's really amazing because you can create something and then have it out to people within 5 minutes. It's really cool.
Definitely some people couldn't have done back to the people your parents listened to.
No, definitely. I mean, the music industry is changing every day. And although that's scary for people in, you know, Hollywood and New York, like the big wigs are having a hard time adjusting. But I think ultimately it's good because there's more music getting out into the world, and people love music, and it's really awesome.
Definitely. Well, do you want to tell us a little bit about, I understand this is your first solo college tour? Yes,
I've been out for almost 5 months, so it's definitely been a long road, but it's been so much fun. I took a few weeks off and went home for Christmas, and so I'm at the beginning of my of getting back out on the road after that little hiatus. But I have a blast. My friends join me, and it's fun playing colleges because I'm the same age as most of the people that I'm playing shows to, and so I get to make a lot of friends, and you know, because since I didn't go to college, it's kind of like I live vicariously through them, and you know,
as we do through you too.
Exactly, it's like a give and take relationship, and it's so much fun. I love it.
And you've also done tours with some more well-known bands before this.
Yes.
Correct.
I was so lucky in 2008 to get on the tour with Collective Soul, Blues Traveler, and Live, which was one of my first tours. I had done one before that, opening for someone else, but that was huge. And the first show that we played was at Red Rocks in Colorado, and that was, I mean, mind-blowing. I was literally 17 playing on this stage where countless of other huge artists, I mean, back to like Janis Joplin have played there, and as you're walking up to the stage, they have this whole little thing that shows who's played there every year. And I mean, I was walking up on stage like looking at these names like, I'm here right now. This is crazy. And I actually, my parents were huge Collective Soul fans from when I grew up too, because they're from Atlanta. And so that was crazy. I got to join them on one of their most popular songs, Shine. I got to join and sing it with them for a few shows, and that was crazy. I mean, that was a huge moment in my life. Definitely, it was amazing and surreal.
So you seem to be on a track that makes you pretty happy. What's the future hold for you?
Definitely more of this. I'm really excited because my last EP that came out in September, I produced myself, and that was a learning experience in itself. And so I'm really excited that I can do that now. I know how to record my own music, and so that really like opens up so much to me because I want to get more music out there more often. And so definitely more EPs, more albums. I'm really into EPs right now just because I like the idea of releasing less songs more often. But I mean, I love albums too. It's just getting enough time to sit down and record a whole album. But definitely more touring, more music, and always more fun.
Well, I'm sure we're all excited to hear more about you in the future.
Thank you.
Would you like to play a couple songs for us?
I'd love to.
All right, thank you. Here's Hana Pestle with a couple song performances.
I wouldn't trade it for the sky. I wouldn't trade it for the sky. It takes a second to see what I want, what I need this far away. The beauty seen on the side, such a disturbing surprise, sounding safe with my life to go. Everywhere is my home. If I retrace to the first step, every last breath, every word to the last line, I wouldn't trade it for the sky.
So, this EP, this is called Trying to Get Used to You.
A kiss like yours, and never had a hand like yours that catches me every time I fall. I never seen a face like yours, and never had a place like yours to run to, and I lost it all. Where did you come from? And please, can you stay? If you see me shaking, I can't catch my breath. If you see me staring like I'm scared to death, you're not crazy, you're not stupid, you're just too good. I'm trying to get used to you. I'm trying to get used to you. I always had the rug pulled out, my house of cards knocked down, so I've never seem to have my heart, and I've seemed to let it go. I'm simply blown away. Where did you come from? And please, can you stay? If you see me shaking, I can't catch my breath. If you see me staring like I'm scared to death, you're not crazy, you're not stupid, you're just too good. I'm trying to get used to you. Give me a moment, and I'll be okay. It's just that nobody else makes me feel this way. You got me shaking. Just too good. I'm trying to get used to you.